And I remember when I first met Amel, he always would tell me like, you're the brand, like you have to be the brand. And I used to be like, okay, Amel, like the lashes are the brand. And he's like, yeah, but that's going to build your brand. Like your presence is going to build your brand. And when he first told me that, I remember I was like, okay, like I was like trying to like understand, but as the years have gone on, he's 100% right.
The GenTech podcast discussing business, investing, and marketing.
Hey guys, welcome back to the GenTech podcast, where we give you valuable information when we're interviewing local business owners. Today, we'll be interviewing Gabrielle. She's the owner of Glam House 813, which is a lash studio here in Tampa. So we're going to be talking to her about her story, how she got started, and any advice she has for other business owners.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So much for being on the podcast with us.
Of course, I'm excited.
So first, I'm just going to start off with some basic background, and then we'll get to your business and advice, and then we'll talk about how you use social media in your business, and then wrap it up. First, I'm going to start with Gabriella. Where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from Chicago, but I moved here when I was like 13. So I grew up in Florida. So I'm pretty native to Tampa and the area. But yeah, a northerner at heart, though,
So am I.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's like a different vibe in Tampa for sure, but it's growing like so much. So it's like a really cool thing to see and like, just having a business in Tampa and seeing the growth. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So you've been here for how many years now?
I mean, I'm 28, so over like 15 years. It's crazy.
Wow, so you've really seen the growth here.
For sure, for sure. I feel like from when I first moved here as like a kid, a teenager, to now, it's like a totally different place,
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
So what first introduced you to the beauty industry?
Well, when I was like 19 years old, I started working for MAC Cosmetics. And so when I was at MAC, I was a makeup artist, and then I started as like a freelancer, grew my way into management. And then I met someone who was doing lashes at the time, and they kind of like got me into that industry. So I decided to go get my esthetician license and start doing lashes, which was about 5 years ago. And yeah, that's how I got into it. I started doing makeup, weddings, stuff like that. And then I grew into more of like the lashing side of it, because when the makeup world that I was working in, it was super corporate and very like sale driven, not really like the artistry focus as much as I wanted, which I like loved the management side, but I also loved the artistry and like actually doing services more at the time. So I like think lashing and growing into that industry of actually doing like the services was more beneficial to like me and just how I work. It's like I like it a lot more.
So you started working with Mac, and then what made you start Glam House 813 and become a business owner?
To become like an actual salon owner. Well, I started doing lashes like 5 years ago, and I worked for someone, and then I grew from there, rented a space from someone, and then like 2 years later, I had my own salon suite. And so for those 2 years, I was literally just working out of a salon suite, like by myself, growing my brand and like trying to build my clientele. And then this year, I like took the leap to open my own like actual location. So we just opened 2 weeks ago. So it's been really good hiring girls on, trying to get them going and like booking new clients and stuff like that. So it's definitely like a way bigger space. And like, it's nice to have like that creative space and like a bigger area for like girls to work and like new clients and that kind of stuff. So it's pretty awesome.
And you're not only an artist, you also teach, am I correct?
Yeah, I teach volume courses. So my girls take like 2-day classes. It's a master class. So it's basically for anyone who wants to learn lash extensions and the business side. So my class teaches you like both avenues of like how to run the business and how to do the actual services. And I also do permanent makeup as well. So like brow tattooing, stuff like that. So there's a lot of different areas you can grow into as far as like this industry goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite part about having your own business and having that creative freedom?
I'm a very like OCD like person, and so having my own space brings me like so much happiness because I have like total creative control and like freedom of like what I want in the salon, the vibe, like how I want things to be. And like, I love having the opportunity to be able to grow a team because I feel like that's super important to me. So that's probably my favorite part is like having the space to be able to like hire girls and grow them as artists and teach them. And, I really love that aspect of it because it's not just like me anymore. It's like I'm trying to grow a team of girls who are like amazing at what they do and just having the opportunity to like give people careers is like amazing to me. So that's definitely my favorite part about having my own space.
And I feel like with your business, you make so many connections with people, especially when
Absolutely.
you're doing girls' lashes.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, they sit
absolutely.
there for how many hours? Like,
At least like 1 to 2 hours or more, depending on like what service. And it's crazy like how many people I've met in the industry that have like helped me in other aspects, whether it's marketing, like GenTech. Like I met the GenTech guys years ago. And like even when I had my own small salon and it was just me, like I was working with them on like branding and like, it's definitely cool to like meet people like as far as clients go and like connections go. There's so many people I've met in Tampa that have helped me in so many other avenues in my business. So it's definitely like an amazing thing to have all these like supportive people around me.
and how do you think you like get the most clients? Like, do you think by word of mouth, referrals?
I think it's a mixture of social media and word of mouth because honestly, referral and word of mouth business to me is like the best because it's coming from someone that's experienced the service already. So if you're already like coming here and you have like an amazing experience and you're telling your friends like go check them out, they do amazing work, the salon's cute, whatever, it's like you're going to trust that person's opinion. So I've always felt like word of mouth was the best way as far as like growing clientele. But I think having a strong social media presence is super important as well because, you can have word of mouth business, but you also need the social media backing you to like for people to see like your quality of your work and like pictures and like the staff and all that kind of stuff. So I think it goes hand in hand, but definitely both of those things are like I would say equal as far as like what's more important.
And especially in your industry, you're doing people's eyelashes and eyebrows, and these
Yeah,
people are walking around basically like a billboard for you, you know?
absolutely. Yeah. Like the girls have to like, represent themselves in like a certain way and like be super like, just like in the beauty industry. Like you can tell when girls are in the beauty industry, they're very like stylish and they like keep themselves together. And it's like you like promote yourself by like you yourself like you're like a walking billboard, so like you're right when you say that because I think if you're in the beauty industry, any of my friends who are like successful in the beauty industry, they have that like vibe about them, like they know what they're talking about, like they know like what's the best thing for you, it's like that vibe. And it's definitely something that's super important for anyone that wants to be in the beauty industry to kind of have that like aura about them because you really have to know, what you're talking about so people can trust you to come get services done from you.
Trust is definitely a huge thing with your industry. And you could
Absolutely.
tell from like your vibe, do you really work on your personal brand also?
Absolutely. I think personal branding is so important in this industry because it's so saturated, like any industry, like marketing, beauty, whatever it is, like, Tampa's growing at such a fast rate that there's so many lash salons and hair salons and nail salons. But I think as like a business owner, like representing yourself in a way as the brand is super important because like I'm the one trying to bring people in and like just talking to them and representing it like how I would want it to be represented, if that makes sense. So it's definitely super important to brand yourself also in a way so people look at you like, you're the owner and that you like you have a lot of knowledge and experience in the industries and you know what you're talking about.
I know you're still at like the very beginning of owning your own business, but what are any challenges you faced?
I think the most challenging thing of like opening a salon would be just the like stress of like you wanting your girls to be successful. Like for me, like my biggest like stress is like getting them booked and busy because I want them to like be super successful. And so for me, it's like just constantly like trying to create new content and promoting them and like trying to get new clients in for them because I really want them to be like super successful. Like my goal is to build a team of girls who are like six-figure, like women who are making good money and they're successful and they love their job. And like that to me, like I stress myself out, like, okay, I got to get them new clients. Like I never focus on, like, I've been doing lashes for years. And so I have a full book. So like now at the new salon, like I don't really take new clients like I used to, because all the new clients, I want to disperse them, to the girls. And that's my biggest stress, is like making sure that they're happy and like becoming successful. As far as like the business aspect, I think I've been doing this for years. So like the social media and like that kind of stuff, it doesn't stress me out. It's more of like building clientele and like just trying to get them busy and like successful.
Hmm. And how do you continue to keep motivation for you and your team? Because obviously you're the leader and all of these girls look up to you as their mentor, which is really
Yeah.
special.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like a surreal thing when they tell me like I inspire them, or like
Mhm.
that they look up to me, because I look back at when I started and I'm like, that's so crazy, because I felt that way about people who were like more ahead than I was. So now being in the position where people are like, you inspire me, I'm like, really? It's like crazy feeling. But I think that the most important thing is to lead by example. And by that I mean, like when I'm working, like you'll see me like checking on the other girls and like introducing myself to their clients and cleaning and like doing, like I don't sit back and expect everyone to like do everything. Like I'm very hands on. And I think like leading by example and showing them like, hey, look, I was 23 when I started and now look where I'm at 28. And it's like that shows them that they can do it too. And my biggest thing is like, I come from a family of just like all business owners, like every person in my family. I feel like either it was like restaurants, salons, whatever. I grew up with entrepreneurs around me my entire life. So for me, I've learned like what to do in the sense to like lead a successful staff from my family and friends and everyone else I've been around. And so I think the most important thing is to give them that representation of yourself. Like, yes, your boss, but we're a team. Like I'm not just your boss. Like you don't just work for me. Like this is a team effort to like build everyone up together.
And that's super important to have like a leader like that is
Yeah.
very interactive and actually cares about your girls and
Yeah, absolutely. Cause everyone's had a job where like their boss was just like, not the best, and
Mhm.
more like you're an employee and you're gonna, like I never want anyone that works for me to feel like I'm this like ringleader, like drill sergeant, or like that I'm just like their boss and they're just an employee. Like
Mhm.
like you have to build that like team effort, because everyone wants to work harder when they're feeling appreciated and like it's a team. And it's not just about me, it's about everyone feeling appreciated and successful.
Mhm. Can you tell me a little bit about all the services that Glam House offers?
We do, so right now we're doing lash extensions, permanent makeup, brow lamination, brow tinting, and more stuff like that. I'm really focusing on just like the lashes and the brows.
Mhm.
In the future, I'm sure we'll add services, more permanent makeup services like lip blushing, eyeliner, that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
maybe facials. I know some of the girls I'm bringing on like are really into skincare, so they want to like add like masks like with their lash services and like little features like that. So we'll definitely grow it, but I've always been obsessed with lashes and brows, so that's really my focus, is like doing those services and becoming like the best in that industry, because that's like what it's all about. I think to be successful, you really need to like narrow down to a few things and try to be the best at those things so you can like grow.
Yeah, definitely. You want to have your niche, and you guys definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important to, even for you guys, like you're known as like a marketing company, and that's like what you guys strive to be the best at every single day. And that's with Glam House, the same thing. Like we strive to be the best at like lashes and brows. And like this is the place to go to get those services. And it's going to be like very good quality and like a good experience overall. So yeah, that's definitely, I think, the most important.
Yeah, like you said, even like being a marketing agency, obviously there's so many. So for us, like we really focus on Facebook ads. Like that's something that we want to excel in. And
Absolutely. You have to like pick and choose like because like I said, there's so many salons that do so many services. So it's like what makes us different from the person down the street? But it's like the quality and the time and the like just the effort that we put into being like the best and like trying to bring out the best services possible for clients in the Tampa Bay area is what's definitely going to set us apart from everyone else. Cause like I do teach. And so when it comes to teaching, I make sure like the girls working for me are as educated as they possibly can be so they can be the best, you know?
And I think that's also really special about your business, the fact that you are also teaching your girls and, you know,
Yeah,
you at least they have you to always go to if they have questions and you
absolutely.
know you taught them
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah, I never want to be in a position where like I'm the business owner and my employees or my girls find like stress like talking to me or they're like fearful of asking me
Mhm.
questions. Like I want them to like be able to call me, text me, or like be here and like communicate and be like, "Hey, G, like I don't really, I'm having a hard time with this. What can I do to get better?" And like I'm super into like having meetings and like going over their goals and like trying to see like, okay, what is it that you want to work on this week that like you feel like you need more work on, because if they're not feeling like 100% confident about something, like I need to get them to that point so that way like everyone is like smooth and like operating smoothly and like no one's fearful of like what they're doing.
And for someone who's in the position where they want to start their own business and maybe even in this industry, what's some advice that you have for them?
I think that for anyone wanting to be in the beauty industry, it is a more difficult industry to get started in the aspect that it doesn't happen overnight. And I think that everyone, like a lot of people go into it thinking like, oh, I'm just going to get busy right away. And it's like, it's definitely my best advice I could give anyone is to definitely have a lot of patience because if you do the work and you're hustling and you're trying to build clients and you're trying to constantly educate yourself and get better, like you're gonna get busy. It just takes time. So I think my most important advice I give everyone is to like just be patient and not give up because it's definitely like a growing process. I remember when I first started, I had like 3, 4 clients and I was like, oh my God, I have a couple clients, and now it's like you look back and laugh because it's like, oh my God. But you get like so busy and all this stuff. And then you look back onto those like times when you first started and you're like, I've grown so much. So it's just crazy like when I look at it, and I think that's the most important thing. People get really defeated because they feel like they're not growing in time or they're not like they're not busy when they think like in a month they should be like fully booked, but it's just a
Mhm.
lot of dedication and a lot of time and education that comes into it. So I would say that anyone who wants to be successful just needs to put in the time and the effort to grow to that point.
I love that advice. I have a few friends in the beauty industry, and I do think it's so hard when you first get started because, you think everyone already has someone, like that's what you think, but it's not true.
Yes, it's not true. There's so many clients like out here. Like, I have close friends who own lash studios, and we're never in competition with each other. Like, I never look at them and I'm like, oh, we can't be friends because you do the same thing I do. Like, that's not a thing. Like, there's millions of freaking people, like hundreds and thousands of people in Tampa who get their lashes done. Like, not one studio can take all these clients. You know what I'm saying? And like, I think the most important thing is to like have those friendships with other like girls who are in the beauty industry
Mhm.
because we help each other grow. And as crazy as that might sound, it's like that's the reality, like we help each other grow. And I think that it's good to have those relationships because in the long run, if you have a strong team of friends who are all entrepreneurs, it doesn't matter. Like I'm sure even the GenTech guys, they have other friends who do marketing.
Mhm.
Like everybody has friends in the same industry, but there's enough clients to go around for everyone that it should never be a competition. And I think if you have that mentality of like, this is a competition and like I can't be friends with you because we're in like the same industry, you're losing, because you can't grow that way. I get inspired by my friends who own businesses that in what I do and they've been in business for years and they're so successful. I'm like, "Oh my God, what can I do to get to that point?" It's never like I'm hating or like, it's never like if you have that mindset of oh, they're doing better than me, so like I can't talk to them or be cool with them, like you're going to fail, because
You
you
can
should
learn so much from
you
them.
can I've learned so much from my friends who have been in it for like years longer than I've been in and they tell me like this is what you need to do. And like, you know, try doing this, or like, don't give up. And, you know, they really help me like push forward in a lot of ways. So I think it's super, super important to just know that no matter what industry you're in, like it should never be a competition. And like I said, there's plenty of clientele to go around to everyone. So that should never be a thought in someone's mind, you know?
And I feel like it's so great for you to even offer your advice. Like the more you give out, the more people also like give to
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. I want to help anyone I can as far as it comes to like the beauty industry and girls being successful. The way I look at it is I've been doing this for 5+ years. If you're starting now, in 5 years from now, I'm going to be 10 years in. So there's really no competition. You know, like I look at it as like we're all growing at different rates. So like I never am like, even I've had people even ask me when it comes to my classes, like, why do you want to teach people to like do lashes how you do them? And I'm like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like, why wouldn't I want to teach people?
Mhm.
Wouldn't, if I feel like I'm the best at what I do, I want to educate other women to be the best at what they do. You know, it's like I'm not keeping secrets so I can be like this. I'm the only one who knows how to do it. Like that's not how you grow, you know? Like I get inspired by girls who come to me and want to learn, because I'm like, you look at me like I'm someone you want to learn from, and to me that's like a very like crazy feeling, you know? I'm like, wow, they're like inspired by me. They look at my work and think it's good. Like they want me to educate them. I think that's like an amazing thing, you know?
And that's why you're a great teacher because, you know, you're very humble and you're willing to give everything you have to these girls. And I think that
Absolutely. They're paying me to like educate them. And it's like, I would never, I'm just not that type of person. Like, if you're coming to me and you want to take my course and you want to like take your hard earned money that you've saved up to learn, like, what kind of person would I be to just take your money and like not really teach you and like half ass my course and just be like, oh, just do it like this? And like, no, like, you can ask any student I've ever taught, like, they will tell you, like, she's so patient. Like they all tell me like, I don't understand. Like you taught me like things that other people would never tell me like to do, because they don't want me to be like as good as them or something. And I'm like, no, like I want you to be as good as me. So one day you can grow into that, you know? Like I said, like there's no competition for me. Like I've never been that kind of person, you know?
and with your classes, can girls take the classes that aren't in your company?
Yeah, so like some of the girls I've hired, I've definitely trained them in the past, which is how I met them, and they wanted an opportunity, which was amazing because I've already trained them. But there's so many girls I've trained that don't work for me, and they work at other places, or they work for themselves, or they're brand new into the beauty industry. So it's so many different types of people that come to me that I get trained, that I train, and it's like I can give them an opportunity if they want, but it's not, they don't have to work for me, or they don't have to be here. You know, they can go do their own thing. I've had girls from California come to me. I've had girls from other areas like drive down a couple hours just to take my class. So it's like there's girls in like Sarasota, Orlando, wherever, that have taken my class and now they do lashes over there. So it's not just like only my employees, you know, like I want to educate whoever I can, you know.
Yeah. And you were saying you've been in Tampa for so long. How have you really seen it change, especially in your industry?
I think that Tampa has become like a very powerhouse type of like vibe as far as beauty industry goes. All the girls I know who own salons, they're very dedicated to like giving very, very high end services. And I think Tampa has definitely become an area that I live in Clearwater, for example. So in Clearwater, there's definitely salons, and St. Pete, there's salons and all these places, but like everyone knows like Tampa's where it's at for beauty. Like it's just like the highest end salons are out here, the highest end services are out here. Like, you know, when you're coming to Tampa that you're getting like really good services and like very luxury vibes in the salons and just your experience overall. And I think it's definitely become that area of Florida, other than like Miami, that's known for the beauty industry. Like, look at how many plastic surgery offices there are and how many hair salons and med spas, and it's just, it's known for that, you know. So it's amazing to see what it's grown into. It definitely gives an opportunity for people in this industry to grow and to be able to charge more and like have that luxury feeling to their services, where in other areas you can't really get away with doing that, you know.
I agree completely. Obviously, like Miami's the number one spot, but right after
Yeah.
that, Tampa but we are like right behind them.
I think once like Tom Brady came in and like the Bucks and then the Rays and then the Lightning, like, and it became like Tampa Bay, like I think that everyone kind of like flocked here and was like, I want to live there, I want to be there. And so now you have people from everywhere here who from New York and LA and wherever, but they're used to that like elevated experience, you know? So I think Tampa's trying to become that, like, even as far as like restaurants and other places, like it's become very bougie and very like elevated vibes to like everything, you know? So I think it's a great opportunity for anyone in business because you have that kind of higher level of clientele, whereas like other areas it's a little harder to do that, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree. Even like I'm from Rhode Island, but the
Yeah.
places that the med spas, the liquid IV places, like you would never see that in
No,
Rhode Island.
like Tampa, you can have people come to your freaking salon and IV you if you're not feeling good. I'm like, that's crazy, but that's like that's some stuff you would see like in LA or like New York City, like you know, it's like there's like city things that like people who live there like experience, and then now that in Tampa it's becoming like that, I think it's cool to see like all those like trendy like higher luxury things like being offered here, you know. It's definitely really cool to see the growth for sure.
Much growth.
It's crazy.
So to pivot to your social media and marketing,
Yeah.
what platforms really work for you?
I use Instagram, to be honest with you, more than anything. I think everyone does. I recently started TikTok, so I've been trying to like post more. But it's hard for me to like make TikToks of like myself. Like I'm so focused on like the services that like I have to like get better for sure at that, like recording myself and stuff like that. But I think for sure Instagram because I can pinpoint the audience better. And like as far as like boosting posts, marketing my like stories or ads and stuff like that, Instagram definitely brings the most clientele for me anyway. And Facebook too is really good, but I definitely do more on Instagram than any other platform.
And what is the importance of social media to you in your business?
I think it's like one of the most important things because that's the only way I can visually show you the work coming out of my salon. And the only way I can like really, you can like see, you know, like pictures and videos and like the staff and like day to day things we're doing that I post, like it really helps people feel like they're like connected to us in that way, you know? I think it's definitely beneficial for any business to use social media because, you know, like I said, word of mouth is cool, but like you need that platform. If someone hashtags Tampa Lashes and they go on Instagram, we're going to pop up, you know, and then you'll see like options of where to go. And it's really, really helpful in that way because, you know, we all use social media for everything. And like whether it's Google, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, like you search things to try to find things in your area, and that's how you search things. Not many people like Google things anymore. I feel like everyone's like on Instagram hashtagging to try to find things, you know?
I was going to say the same thing. Like it used to be, you know, if I heard about your salon, I wanted to know more, I would Google it. But nowadays you look it up on
Instagram. Yeah, like you know, even if say you're like, oh, I want to get my brows done, you're gonna type in Instagram like hashtag Tampa brows and see what pops up. So you have like this crazy amount of like pictures to choose from and different salons to look at. Whereas like you can Google things, but a lot of people also know that Google's like paid ads. So like the ones more on top are like they might not be the best services, but it's just like more of like because they're paid for advertisements, whereas Instagram's more like organic and like actually showing you people in the area and like their quality of work, you know? I think it's definitely
Yeah.
important.
And when you're posting your clients and tagging them, they can put it on their story, which, you know,
Yeah. It
such
connects
an
people,
audience.
you know, and then like that person will see their friend and they're like, oh, I like them. I'm gonna follow them. You tag them. It's just how it works, you know. It like brings so many people together. It's a really good thing.
Yeah. And tell me about your Instagram name. You have the Glamriella, right?
Yeah, so that was like years ago. I changed it to that. I don't know. I honestly like can't remember how that happened. I think it was just like one of those random like funny things that I changed it to. And I was like, well, it makes sense because I'm in the beauty industry. My name is Gabrielle, so I just changed it to Glamrielle. And
Yeah.
then business was Glam by G for like the last 2 years because it was just myself. So then I wanted to still, a lot of people like call me Glam or G. It's like just an ongoing nickname. And like a lot of people that know me, they're like, oh, it's Glam or hey G, like, you know. And so I wanted to definitely keep Glam in the name, but I didn't want the focus to be just on me anymore. So that's why, like when I first opened, a lot of people were like, "Oh, are you going to keep it Glam by G, like studio?" And I'm like, "No, like I don't want people calling and being like, who's G? Like I want G to do my lashes. Like I
Yeah.
have a team of girls, like it can't be focused on me." And I still wanted glam in the name. So I thought Glam House was like perfect because I just look at it like a house of like beauty in a way. Like this, you can come here and it's like, you get so much. And it's like a very like family environment because we like to be really like friendly and close with our clients and make them feel at home. So it just kind of worked that way. And 813, I think definitely represents Tampa. Everyone knows 813. And so I just figured it would be like fun to add it into the name so it can be a good representation of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I love the name, and I love that how it connects to your personal Instagram because I think
Yeah,
it's very cohesive and good.
I think that's like a big thing with branding is like you kind of have to like link the two, And I remember when I first met Amel, he always would tell me like, "You're the brand, like you have to be the brand." And I used to be like, "Okay, Amel, like the lashes are the brand." And he's like, "Yeah, but that's gonna build your brand. Like your presence is gonna build your brand." And when he first told me that, I remember I was like, okay, like I was like trying to like understand, but as the years have gone on, he's 100% right, because people who know me automatically associate me with my salon, and it's true. Like when what they see me post is like a representation of my business. So it's very important to correlate both those things.
And like we said, like you're sitting there for so long with these clients, especially having someone that's sociable and fun. Like you talk to them
Yeah,
for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours while you're doing these services.
right.
Like you want to
Yeah.
have something to enjoy.
Yeah, and you have to like connect with people. Like you have to think like these women are coming to you every 2, 3 weeks. So you have to like conversate. You have to get to know them. You have to like ask questions and remember things. Like, for example, if my client tells me today, "Oh, I have a party in 2 weeks." Well, in 2 weeks, when I see her, I'm going to make sure that I remember that she had a party and I'm going to talk to her about it because it's like you have to make them feel, like any clientele you have to make them feel appreciated in that way and like very connected because they are like my friends. I see them more than I see my friends, sometimes, so it's like you get to know these people. And a lot of times your clients become close friends to you or just, in general, they want to support your business and they love to see you grow and they want to like help you in any way they can, which is where like the referrals come in and just the word of mouth and all that. So it's definitely important.
And I just want to wrap up this interview with one last question. What's the biggest takeaway that you hope our listeners learn from this podcast?
I hope that you guys take away that you can own a business and you can be successful at a young age. I never went to college. Well, I did, but I dropped out after like one semester. It wasn't for me. And like never was into school. Like high school wasn't really my thing. I just always wanted to be like working. And I remember like being younger and my family being like, "You need to go to school. Like that's the way. Like that's the smart way. That's the like, like everyone has that." But I never was like that. So for anyone who like feels that way or like is an entrepreneur at heart and like knows they're like a hustler through and through, like you can do it. It just takes like time and dedication. And anyone listening, I hope they know that you just need to have that courage to like take the leap to do it, because I could have easily not ever opened my own salon because I was scared, but you have to have that courage and like, to take away like to go into the next step of your life, And so I think that anyone listening, I just hope that they know that they can do anything that they put their mind to. Because if I'm 28 and was able to open a salon on my own, you can do whatever you want. I never, if you would have asked me this 10 years ago, I would have laughed literally and been like, "Me owning a lash salon? What are you talking about?" So it's like you can really do anything you put your mind to. And anyone listening, I hope you have that courage and that drive to do anything you want because life is way too short to wake up every day and not do what you love to do.
Thank you. I completely love that. I think there was so much value in this podcast. I'm just going to
Awesome.
run through like all the notes that I took during it just to
Yeah,
recap for everyone. So
absolutely.
you talked about how important your team is to you and bringing value to your team and
Yeah,
building them up and giving them motivation.
yeah, absolutely.
Your biggest thing is patience for anyone in the beauty industry, which is super important. It takes time to grow and to not get discouraged if,
Absolutely.
everything doesn't come to you in the beginning, because it really does take that time and effort. I loved what you said about being friends with people will help you grow, and being friends with people in the same industry as you is not a bad thing, and how you guys can motivate and learn from each other, and just surrounding yourself with people, who do the same thing is a great thing, and it shouldn't be competition. It should be encouraged.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the way anyone should grow. You have to have, they always say, like, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're not going to go anywhere. So I really always love to have people in my life who are way more excelled than I am in certain aspects, because I just learn from them on a daily basis,
I love that saying. It's like, if you're not the smartest person in the room, like, go to another room.
You're in the room.
If you are the
Yeah,
smartest
if you are, you're in the wrong room for sure, Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you always want to be surrounding yourself with people that you can learn from.
Absolutely. That's why I think, it's very important, because if you're not learning and you're not inspired by other people, then you're just going to be stagnant forever,
Mhm. Well, Gabrielle, thank you so much. Where can our listeners find you online? You want to plug all your socials?
Yeah, all my socials. Instagram is Glam House _813, and same thing with TikTok is Glam House _813. So if you type in Glam House 813 on Google, everything pops up, as far as like the website, and glamhouse813.com is our website too. So you can find us on all those platforms. And thank you guys for having me. It was really fun.
Amazing. Perfect. If you guys want to follow us, and make sure to follow the podcast, it's at GenTech Marketing on Instagram and Facebook and all our socials. So thank you guys again for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye. Thank you.